You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room. All right, then. The not so unthinkable has happened in the West Indies. India have lost the T20I series to a team which has not qualified for back-to-back World Cups across two formats. So how have India summed up their tour of the West Indies? 1-0 victory in the test matches. You couldn't win the second match.
Yes.
You lost one ODI. So you won the ODI series 2-1, beg your pardon. And then you took the T20I series to a decider and ended up losing that. But anyway, there'll be a lot of points and counterpoints and, people weighing in with different opinions. Some would say, look, this bowling attack wouldn't have any bearing on the Asia Cup or the World Cup. Now, if you look at it that way, you're probably looking at Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, Shardul, Pandya and either of Kuldeep or Chahal in that bowling lineup, not to forget Ravindra Jadeja. So they will probably be the core of your bowling lineup. So maybe not so much with the bowling lineup, but that batting approach, you still haven't found answers to the middle order conundrum. Who's your number 4? Will KL Rahul be fit? Who's your number 5? Is Hardik Pandya then penned down as number 5? Surya Kumar Yadav, couple of good T20 knocks. Is he now going to fit the bill as your number 6? What about Hardik Pandya's captaincy? What is the roadmap for India in T20 cricket? Are they going to look for a new set of coaches in the months to come? Like we discussed in the last episode, right? The T20 World Cup is not far off. Plenty of questions. Few have been answered. But before I move there, Venkatesh Prasad, he's been very vocal about India's predicament in the shorter formats. And let me just start off this episode by reading out what he tweeted last night after the defeat. He says India needs to improve their skill set. There's hunger and intensity deficiency, and the captain looked clueless. This is Venkatesh Prasad. Bowlers can't bat, batsmen can't bowl. It is important to not look for yes men and be blinded because someone is your favorite player and look at the larger good. And then Prasad responding to a question from someone who asked him his views on the T20 captain, on the Indian T20 captain and team management. Prasad goes on to say they are responsible for the debacle and need to be held accountable. Process and such words are misused now. MS Dhoni meant it. Guys now just use the word. There is no consistency in selection. Random stuff happening. Too much random stuff. Is this Indian team now full of yes men?
Process, yeah.
Again, you are why you're skirting the issue?
Jumping out.
The process is a term that not just Hardik Pandya uses. Virat Kohli has used, Rohit Sharma has used. Too many yes men, I don't know, Raj. I don't know if it's, if you were a yes man and if you have to describe this tour of West Indies, how would you describe it? Like when you started the podcast, you said we lost an opportunity to win the second test. We were run close by West Indies in the ODI series.
I never said that.
If you were to put it in a very positive light.
Don't put words in my mouth. I just said you couldn't win the second test match.
If you
went and lost an ODI to a team which did not qualify for the ODI World Cup. You lost the T20 series to a team which could not qualify for the T20 World Cup. That is all I said.
If you were not to look at it in a critical way, rain robbed us the result in the second test. Rain robbed us 8 points.
Rain robbed us T20 series.
And then we fought back from a defeat to win the ODI series. And we were just short of scripting history from 0-2 down to a 3-2 victory.
2 hours back, this man here, Akshay Ramesh, told me there is no way anybody can defend.
This is how yes men in the team look at this series. That's what I'm saying.
Right now,
so are you one of the yes men representing the team outside the dressing room?
Everything is outside noise for the team. For instance, when India lost the 5th T20I on Sunday in Florida, Hardik Pandya came up for the press conference and he says losing sometimes is good. His statements are not the problem. And he said, we know the process. We don't have the need to explain it. The people in the team know what we are talking about.
No, more than processes. We'll come to that, Saurabh. But since you've mentioned the words, there's been a lot of introspection apparently. Rohit Sharma last week said, we haven't been able to get a proper number 4 since Yuvraj Singh. probably, I don't know, maybe Yuvraj Singh retired last week, unless I could be wrong. Maybe he retired last week. Yuvraj Singh, one of your greatest limited overs cricketers, winning you 2 World Cups, back-to-back World Cups at that. Rahul Dravid now, he's realized now that there's a lack of batting depth. Also, your approach is still so aggressive. The captain comes out and scores 14 of 18 balls at a strike rate of 77.
6 of 16, from then on 1-6, and then he got out.
And
that's how 14
in
of
a
18
T20,
comes.
in a T20. So basically, your T20 approach hasn't changed. There's nothing to suggest your ODI approach has changed. And here you are facing the predicament of no solid number 4 yet. And you're looking at Hardik Pandya as a number 5. You're looking at Surya at number 6. But again, what has he done at number 6 is the big question. I mean, I have seen reports which say that, Surya Kumar Yadav batted at number 3 in these 2 T20Is. And you'd expect him to also manipulate the field in an ODI. But there's a lot of difference where, probably a team has lost 4 wickets in the first 6, in the power play of a T20 match, right? And then you're left with only 14 overs. Suppose you're 80 for 4, 85 for 5 in a one-day game in the 15th over.
You can't have the same approach in a one-day game.
Do you have that team?
Obviously, when you're talking about T20Is and ODIs, they are 2 different formats. Surya Kumar Yadav has bossed T20Is. He has been brilliant. He knows how to take his game up. But when it comes to ODIs, he himself recognizes that he has not been able to replicate his form. And why? Because ODI cricket requires a different level of skill set. It requires someone to be patient enough to understand the condition and then go on and score those runs in the way he wants to, and in the way the condition allows him to. And if you're talking about the Indian team, I mean, today I started in the morning shift. And the first thing when I was coming to office I saw was Venkat. He was ranting out, and he's talking truth. I mean, you have lost, you almost lost the ODI series. Test series you won. Thankfully you won that. In the ODI series, you made different experiments. Virat Kohli did not bat in the first match, and Virat Kohli did not play the last 2 games along with Rohit Sharma. T20 series, you have lost it. You squared up. You actually went 2-0 down. Then, thankfully, some good performances happened, and you pulled it back. Again, to give it back to West Indies, who have, by the way, this is, I think, West Indies' first T20 series win over India since 2016. So you were talking about history. India were not going to script history. West Indies have scripted history.
No, look, again, I mean, all due respect to the results, we had kind of agreed and understood, and even now understand that the results perhaps have no bearing on the immediate future. The Asia Cup and the World Cup is not to say just because you've lost to the West Indies, you're going to go and not do well at the Asia Cup or the World Cup, right? It could still be that, India could win the Asia Cup, India could win the World Cup, you could see another Indian team winning the Asian Games gold. All of that could happen. But since you are so obsessed with the word process, tell us about your processes leading up to the Asia Cup and the World Cup. We're still waiting on the Asia Cup squad. I know this is Monday. We're recording this episode
August
for Wednesday.
14th.
Yeah. So
14th
maybe in
of
between
August.
you'll have the India squad being announced. But my problem is, also, what processes have you followed to fill up these vacancies, right? With the bowling lineup, I think if you keep Hardik and Jadeja aside, Jadeja who did not play the T20 series, you're probably looking at one of these guys making it to the playing 11 of the World Cup, which is Kuldeep Yadav. Akshar Patel, again, you played musical chairs with him. Akshay, you told me, right? He played all 5 matches. He bowled 11 overs in this T20 series. Now, he did not bowl in one of the match. He did not bowl at all. Then he comes in the power play, gets you wickets. And then Akshar Patel bowls just that 1 over on Sunday in the final, decider. He bowls just this 1 over when the West Indies chase was all but over. The same thing with Yuzvendra Chahal. You keeping him in contention perhaps for the World Cup. You don't give him any games in the ODI series. He comes on in the T20s, gives you a double wicket over, and you take him off the attack immediately. In the next 2-3 matches, yes, exactly. In the next 2-3 matches, his confidence is completely dented. He's expensive. So where are the processes? And is Venkatesh Prasad right? Is there a dearth of senior heads in this team who will put up their hands and say, look, enough is enough. What is this going on? What is this round robin medical chair? Somebody has to put a stop to this within the team.
Who do you think is responsible for this?
No, I mean, again, I'll go back to Venkatesh Prasad's tweets because obviously he knows much more about team dynamics than the three of us here.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, right? No matter how many years we've spent covering the sport, if you've been part of the team, you know. So from what he's saying, he's questioning the team management. He's questioning the captain, who he said is look clueless. Hardik Pandya has been fantastic as Gujarat Titans captain. But again, his batting approach, it's not refreshing at all. Apart from Surya Kumar Yadav in that final game, none of the batters looked the part. So it's a culmination of the team management.
To
and
answer
the
your
captain.
question, Raj, you were asking about processes, right? We are resting Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul from the
KL Rahul is not being rested.
Rested, yeah.
He's
We're not
injured.
sure
But
of
he has not played T20 cricket since the last World Cup like the others, like the other two. So we are getting them ready for the ODI World Cup, which is of
How?
course one by resting them, by injury management.
Will
by getting
KL
them
Rahul
ready.
take Buchi Babu?
No, he's playing
Intra-squad
simulation
games,
matches
yes.
in simulated matches in NCA, and also Raj, you were making one question about you were completely ignoring the fact that Surya Kumar has been allocated that finisher's role in ODIs.
Yeah.
What does he have to do? Play 15-16 overs in the end. That is what he told.
Are you sure?
That is what he told after the
Yeah,
after
I
the
know
ODI
that's what
series.
he said, but is that what Yuvraj Singh did not become Yuvraj Singh by just playing 15-16 matches? Big up his
At
numbers.
number 6,
Exactly.
no.
I think he's one of the greatest finishers in the
No,
history
who
of
were-
one-day cricket. So is MS Dhoni and so is Michael Bevan.
Who were your openers back then, Raj? Gautam Gambhir, Sachin Tendulkar, Virender
Come on.
Sehwag. What was their class and what is the
Rohit
current
Sharma,
opening?
are
you-
you
you're
questioning
saying
Rohit
Rohit
Sharma's
Sharma?
class?
No, I am
Rohit
saying,
Sharma,
I am
Virat-
saying,
Come
I
on.
am saying they don't have to bat because your Rohit will be consistent at the top.
No,
Shubman will be consistent. Virat will be consistent.
I don't think that's what
so
Surya
30
meant.
overs is done.
Come on, Akshay. That's not what Surya meant. What Surya said was in the best case scenarios.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that all these cricketers, these players, they're looking at best case scenarios. When you want to win World Cup, Saurabh, you're looking at worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
What if we are 70 for 4 in the 14th over? What if? You're looking at, that's how you succeed, by preparing for worst case scenarios. What if Virat doesn't score in the first 2 matches of the World Cup? What if Rohit fails against Australia? How do you step up? You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. Saurabh, tell me, is this Indian team headed that way? Again, I know we've drilled this so many times. Throughout the West Indies tour, this is what you've come to, right? You've lost the T20 series. Maybe, okay, we're not going to be overtly critical. Also, the bowling. Why we're being critical about the bowling and the defeats is because it sort of gives some sort of window into Hardik Pandya's cricketing mind. That has been questioned. And you got to question that.
Absolutely.
With the talent pool available, so does the captain, as Hardik, I think, sees himself as the next T20 captain, does he have a good enough say? If not, why not? He should, for sure. The coach, you have to be more proactive than that in the T20 format. But again, just look at the limited numbers leading up to the ODI season. Your batters, you still don't have the answers. Suddenly, Tilak Verma, I mean, I said that on a Hindi podcast on Friday, because there's so much talk around Tilak Verma on our podcasts, on social media, the team management might just wake up and say, you know what, Tilak Verma, ho sakta hai yaar. Let's look at it.
Let's wait for the Asian Games to finish. Rinku Singh might perform and we suddenly might ask him for number 6.
Suddenly, so that musical chair hasn't stopped.
I don't think it will stop even after Asia Cup, if you ask me.
There are 3 ODIs against Australia after that. We can still decide.
Yes. If you're looking at for example, if you're looking at number 4 spot. So what, before 6-7 months ago, we were talking about Shreyas Iyer being your designated number 4 batter.
Yeah.
He got injured. He missed IPL. Then and KL Rahul was coming at number 5. Now with Rishabh Pant not being there, KL Rahul injured and I think he's fit enough to play because he's playing those simulation matches at NCA. Shreyas Iyer, has he been playing any games?
I am not very sure.
I have not seen anything of this sort where he has been playing or not. So now at number 4, who is going to be number 4? What is going to be your approach? You're talking about Surya Kumar Yadav at number 6. Come on, you gave him so many chances. I think his last 50 came 17 ODIs ago. what are you expecting him to do? You talk about who is going to be your wicket keeper. Will Ishan Kishan be your wicket keeper and come and open with Shubman Gill, or will Rohit Sharma sacrifice his position and come at number 4? What is this team planning? Your perfect playing 11 is not there. You don't know what to do. And there have been so many experiments. You gave Mukesh Kumar debut. Who is going to be your pace bowling trio? Is Bumrah fit enough? With this Ireland series will give us a proper answer about Bumrah's fitness.
Is it enough? 12 overs of...
No, but see, even if Bumrah is not fully fit, he will be a part of this lineup. But we'll also discuss the probable playing 11 for the World Cup. I know we're still, eons away.
Is this the ODI World Cup or the T20 World Cup?
The ODI World Cup. First, one World Cup at a time.
One World Cup.
But my biggest problem is the way, like we've discussed numbers 4 and number 5, but I don't see a lot of people talking about the bowling as well, right? Now, we'll try and figure out a probable 11. This is just, fantasy stuff that we probably try and do this. But let's say Bumrah is 80% fit for the World Cup. You have Shami and Siraj. You're probably also looking at Shardul in the squad. You're looking at Hardik in the squad. Either of Kuldeep or Chahal. Jadeja. No, but what have you done with Akshar Patel and Yuzvendra Chahal? Like I said, you did not play Yuzvendra Chahal in the ODI series. You barely bowled him at crucial junctures in the T20 matches. I think that was a bit of a confidence denter when he was pulled off after that double wicket over. That was a bizarre call. Akshar Patel, is he a specialist batter? Is he a specialist bowler? Is he an all-rounder? Is he a batting all-rounder? Is he a bowling all-rounder?
Same questions can be asked to Hardik Pandya, the captain, T20
That is
captain.
exactly what is coming off Hardik Pandya.
Is he a batting all-rounder? Is he a bowling all-rounder? Or is he a...
No. Look, why I'm asking these questions about Akshar and Chahal is because you know that Hardik is a sure shot starter in that playing 11, right? But could Akshar have been one of your other key players? I know he's a lot like Ravindra Jadeja, left-arm bowler, left-arm batter. But what a fantastic batter Akshar has been through the last year or so, especially in Test cricket. There is evidence to show that he could be a good one-day all-rounder too. But have you not completely made a khichdi out of this entire scenario? Where you could have had these prospects and now you're staring at a blank when you're looking at...
one of India's leading wicket takers in ODIs since the 2022 season, Shardul Thakur, he might not get a chance in the playing 11 if you're going to play 3 frontline pacers.
What if he doesn't even get a chance in the squad?
Yes.
Because you want a left-arm seamer. Because you want a left-arm seamer.
And also when you're announcing the World Cup squad, I think you will have to check for backups. Like, for instance, if a KL Rahul is not fit enough, if he gets injured, and they would definitely want a Bumrah backup as well. I'm not sure how... As in, can we announce a squad of 25? Can we make that change?
No, look, you can't. You have to announce an initial list of 15 by the 5th of September, and then you have to finalize that 15. You can make as many changes as you like till the 27th of September. That's for the World Cup. By the way, the Asia Cup squad is also going to be announced shortly. I think they're just waiting on Bumrah's fitness. But my question is, even if he is 80% fit, would you not have Bumrah in that Asia Cup squad?
Yeah.
You want to see, right? You don't want him to break down now because he's obviously worked on his fitness, he's worked on his rhythm. But yes, the team management now needs to be questioned. At least, that T20 build-up and what have you achieved in ODIs as well. I know a lot of people have also pointed out that, look, when Ravi Shastri was coach, he was also brutally criticized. But no, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the major difference. When this Indian team went to the 2017 Champions Trophy, that was under Anil Kumble, reached the final. You played so very well.
Yeah.
The 2019 World Cup, that was the Ravi Shastri Virat Kohli era. The peak of the Ravi Shastri Virat Kohli era.
Absolutely.
Those guys looked formidable. They beat South Africa, they beat Australia, they beat Pakistan. They were so clinical. There were some close run-ins against Afghanistan, I remember. Yeah. That was Shami hat-trick. Yes, you did not do very well chasing that total down against England. And England was
at the top of the group.
They finished as the leaders in that points table. They had just that one conundrum there. Who's your number 4? Who's your number 4? Yes. 3D, this, that.
Yeah.
But now...
Yeah. But one major thing...
You have those questions and more, and your top order. The top 3 are also not in form.
And also, if you look at it, we are just talking about Rohit and Virat. What did Shubman Gill do in the West Indies tour?
Shubman Gill, I'm not so worried about him because he did well at home. He's had a good run
And he has to play the World Cup at home.
at home, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Maybe schedule all the matches in Ahmedabad. Might get you running.
I'm so surprised. I've heard these questions about Shubman Gill. I'm so surprised. Nobody has been asking these questions of Virat Kohli because he scored that 100 in the Test match in West Indies. That's it.
Raj, but you were highlighting what is the difference between that coaching staff and this coaching staff. There was a concern about the Team India winning all. There was a term, bilateral bullies, winning all bilateral series.
So this coaching
and
staff
losing
has
this.
also started.
No, this coaching staff has sorted that problem. We
Not
lost an
winning
ODI
well.
series to Bangladesh last year. Australia this year ran close against West Indies.
Yeah.
Now we have lost the T20I series against West Indies.
So
we
you're
are no
balancing
more bilateral bullies.
So you're balancing the argument there. We're not.
So
yeah,
you-
yeah.
Earlier
I
you were
agree.
not just winning IC trophies. Now you will also not win bilateral trophies.
No, you never know. That might be one.
So what
tactic that-
what you are prompting
Yeah.
is earlier we used to win bilateral series but not World Cups. Now we will win World Cups because we are
No,
losing.
now you can't be too critical of this team. Now
Yeah.
look, yes, Akshay has hit the nail on the head. What he's saying is you're 100%
If you
right.
win bilaterals, you're being called bilateral bullies.
Damned if you
lose
do, damned
bilateral-
if you don't.
Yes.
Exactly. So you went and lost that bilateral series to Bangladesh.
Yes.
You lost to Australia after winning against the powerful Sri Lanka
Sri Lanka
and New
and
Zealand.
West Indies.
And New Zealand earlier this year.
Yeah.
And then you lost the T20I series to the West Indies.
And nearly lost the ODI
Now
series.
you're going to say that, look, we've only lost these bilateral series.
Yes.
So we are going to be primed for the World Cup. We've got all our answers.
Yeah, because
We've got all our
while
answers.
losing the bilateral series, while following the processes, we have identified the holes, we have answered questions, and we have come up with a settled lineup.
So basically,
Isn't that an ideal world, Raj? That should have happened. But has it happened? A big no. Raj, before you go further, tell me something about Hardik Pandya's form. Has he forgotten that he has to bat when he captains the team?
this is very disconcerting. His form.
Yeah. Especially in T20 cricket and also in ODIs.
No, we'll come to T20
When was
cricket.
the last
He scored a
recognized
70 not
impact
out.
knock that Hardik
He
Pandya
scored a
played?
70 not out in that decider against the West Indies. The last impactful Hardik Pandya knock in ODIs was probably the one against England. That was also series decider where I think Pant scored 100.
Yeah,
Wasn't
exactly.
that partnership with last year in 2022? My problem is not that. My problem, any player could go through a lean patch. But my problem is, has Hardik Pandya really secured his position at number 5 in one-day cricket?
And who has given him that position? I think he's openly coming out in the press and
No,
saying
obviously
that
the team management, the
I want to
captain.
bat higher up the order.
Obviously the team management. And,
He's leading your T20I side.
No, as far as Rohit Sharma is concerned, it's just workload management, and they might return for the 2020 World Cup in 2020.
yeah, I mean, once they return, we don't know how the
He never
dynamics
said
of
that
this
he will
team.
return. He's looking forward to it.
But he said that all this is part of workload management.
No.
Ravindra Jadeja is also not
Could
playing.
be,
Why are you
could
not
be,
asking
could
that
be.
question?
You never know. Rohit Sharma could end up winning the T20 World Cup in the US. That could happen, right? But the point is, in the immediate future,
Number 5.
you don't have any other option for number 5.
Exactly.
Now, you're looking at Hardik Pandya as a batting all-rounder, right? So he's not a bowling all-rounder for you. When Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj operate with that ball, obviously Hardik Pandya won't get in with the new ball, right? I don't think he's going to share the new ball with either of them, with any of the three. So who else at number 5 but Hardik? Is there any other top order batter from number 1 to number 6? Exclude the wicketkeeper who could be either of KL Rahul or Sanju Samson, or maybe Ishan Kishan. You don't have anybody else who could bowl. So you have to have Hardik Pandya at number 5. Now your number 6 is suddenly Surya Kumar Yadav. 7 would be Jadeja. And then you have 4 other bowlers. That leaves you with 6 bowling options, wherein you're not even sure of who your number 4 could be. So your number 5 is not in the best of form.
But
I
you
wouldn't
still
go
have
too
to-
far by Hardik Pandya's legacy in one-day cricket because he's also not played that many ODIs. He's also had to battle injuries. And I think also in the initial half of his career, I think the Indian team management made a mistake back then. That was before the Dravid era. If you were looking, I remember this series against Australia, was it in 2017, where Hardik had started regularly coming up at number 4 and there were a couple of good knocks that he played. Maybe that's when you should have stuck by him and said, you know what, play at number 4. We're not looking at any other number 4s. Even for the 2019 World Cup, he is our number 4. Then probably that would have given you 7 bowling options. You could have looked at another viable all-rounder. You haven't done that. You haven't looked at the likes of Shivam Dubey. You haven't looked at the likes of Venkatesh Iyer beyond a couple of matches here and there. Washington Sundar is just, I don't know where he is, what his injury management is. So now you are stuck with a top order which is not in form, which is not scoring runs. And like Venkatesh Prasad said, they're also not bowling.
Yes.
Virat Kohli could have honed his bowling skills. Rohit Sharma could have. But, maybe they're batting stars. They don't need to. Tendulkar, maybe, was he a lesser batter? That he took his bowling so seriously.
Like I said,
I haven't seen a better cricketer in my years of covering sports than Sachin Tendulkar. And that man, I've seen him at nets, how seriously he would take his bowling.
Yeah.
And you have Shreyas Iyer. How many overs has he bowled in one-day cricket? He's played a
But
fair
with his
few.
injury concerns, let him first.
Before his injury
Bad
concerns, I
performance.
meant before his injury concerns. How often have you seen him bowl?
Played a lot
But
of
also,
ODIs.
like I said in the last episode, it's also workload in this era of T20 cricket, and every week you're playing bilateral series.
Okay. Awkward silence.
Yeah, Raj,
Awkward question.
But that was a very good point that you made, that, at one point, maybe in 2018, 2019, when Hardik did well at number 4, India missed a trick by bat.
They did. And that's why,
That could have given you
can't
room
be
for another
overtly
all-rounder.
critical of Hardik Pandya now, where he is only following the template that was set earlier. That they are looking for probably protection before anything else, looking for runs and just get there. So you should have cemented that spot for him.
T20 cricket, at number 5, he has played most of his since the start of this year, where he has led India full time, as in not full time, officially appointed, but he has led India in all T20Is. In 11 matches, he has scored 188 runs, gone past 30 only once.
Yeah.
So is he? I don't know.
And not just Hardik Pandya. Why just Hardik Pandya? The top 6, by the way. The top 6. What has Rohit Sharma done in one-day cricket? Shubman Gill, again, given the benefit of doubt, because he's done remarkably well at home. Right? Yeah. He has had a very bad patch from the WTC final to the West Indies tour. Scored a couple of half centuries. I think there's 1 half century in the ODI. The 1 half century in the T20 is there. Couple of half centuries, was it?
Yeah,
one in an ODI, one in the T20.
Yeah.
So that's where my problem is. Now, the other problem is, people don't want to talk about it. There's all this suggestion that hangs in the air. Is ego, is pride getting the better of this Indian team? We are far too good to be bothered by trivialities of criticism from the outside.
Yeah.
This outside noise, have they taken it too far? Is there too much arrogance? Is arrogance the reason why we are asking so many questions in the build-up to the World Cup, whereas you should have probably been discussing,
Yeah, a simple thing, Raj. As in, I don't know, many of us would have noticed it. Before the start of the third ODI against the West Indies, West Indies Cricket Board presentator and former cricketer Samuel Badri asked Hardik Pandya, there is a chance that India might lose this ODI series for the first time since 2006 or 12 to the West Indies. 2006 to the West Indies. And how do you think about that prospect? He said, it's okay, I want to be unique.
T20s, I think.
ODIs. Third ODI.
Hardik Pandya. Yeah.
And yes, and on Sunday, after losing the 5th T20I, he says, we know about our processes. I don't think I have to explain it for everyone.
But Hardik hasn't said anything different from what Virat has said, from what Rohit has said, from what Rahul Dravid has said.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
So that's part
I
of
still remember when Virat Kohli used to come out for press conferences. He used to be like outside noise. Outside noise was a term familiarized by Virat Kohli. I don't know whether MS used it as much, but Virat Kohli
familiarized. Use it, but he wouldn't care as much. But he gave you the results. So. So did Virat.
Exactly.
I think this complacency is...
Exactly, that is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli did use outside noise. He made it popular, but his team produced results. They reached the final. They reached the final of Champions Trophy in 2017. Played against Pakistan, lost that game. They reached the semi-final of the World Cup by table topping.
Yeah.
The World Test Championship, I think.
Yeah,
that
they reached
first
the
circle,
final.
India was the best team.
They defeated
across
Australia in back-to-back Test series. So Virat Kohli did produce results. What has Hardik Pandya done as the captain of Indian team?
I was genuinely surprised that both of you are agreeing that Virat Kohli's white ball stats are better.
No.
After seeing what Rohit and Hardik have done.
Yes. But the criticism still stays the same for Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. Not Hardik Pandya, because Hardik Pandya hasn't been officially anointed captain of any of these formats. Is across the last 10 years you haven't won an ICC tournament. Yeah. That question will still be asked, and that question is now we've asked that very often on the Sledging Room. But now there are questions. Now see, even Venkatesh Prasad's criticism over the last several months. He's been he's been bang on with his points. Yeah.
I think why we are going back to Venkatesh Prasad so much is that a lot of us have these views, and a lot of experts, I am sure, will have these views.
Maybe they sugarcoat.
But not many of them are voicing it out.
Yeah.
But
maybe they sugarcoat it.
Like you said, You were asking about arrogance and complacency and all that. I do think that this Indian team has become arrogant and complacent, and at the same time, it has become a little defensive when you compare that Ravi Shastri Virat Kohli era. For instance, England, we spoke so much about baseball. A particular baseball hater is sitting right here. We spoke so much about baseball.
I don't hate baseball.
Yeah. No, I'm just giving.
I just don't like the overhype of baseball.
Yeah. So there was so much buzz about baseball in the lead up to the series. But how did England approach that test series? They said, we will stick to our guns. We are here to do what we want to do. But when you were asked about the pressure of World Test Championship final, the pressure of not having won an ICC title in the past, we don't have any pressure. We don't think about. We take it one match at a time. Before a major event, it's one match at a time. At the major event, there is no pressure.
You know why?
I don't know. Have they become?
You know what? I'll tell you something. A good thing that you brought up these comments. I'm worried about one thing. In the build-up to the World Cup, I've been worried specifically with two statements. One from Rohit Sharma, who said that we've had a problem with number 4 since Yuvraj Singh left, and with Rahul Dravid now admitting that yes, there is a lack of depth in the batting department.
Still have 2 months.
This is don't even have 2 months.
Yeah.
It's less than 2.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost a month and a half away from your first match of the World Cup. So I'm a little worried now. Because all these statements would come generally over the last 10 years after India.
After losing you get knocked out of the World Cup. So are they preparing us?
Saurabh, even then, 2013 you won the Champions Trophy. 2014 you reached the final of the T20 World Cup. 2015 you reached the semi-final of the ODI World Cup. 2017 you reached the final of the Champions Trophy. 2016 semi-final of the T20 World Cup. 2019 the semi-final. 2021 World Test Championship. 2019 and 2021 in the ODI World Cup and the World Test Championship. You were by far the best team until the last couple of hurdles. I mean, again, no excuses there, but you have to give it to the team. Even in the 2017 Champions Trophy, by the way, in the lead-up to the final, India were completely dominant. They lost that game to Sri Lanka, high-scoring game. Again, that sort of highlighted the absence or the complete lack of leg break bowlers in the Indian team.
Let's even pin it on Bumrah, Raj. Because of Bumrah, we lost.
Whatever it was, that fine. Whatever. Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma obviously scored so many runs in the final.
Exactly.
They lost despite that. But it's easy to pin it on the bowlers. It's always so easy to pin it on the bowlers who have won so many test matches overseas and in difficult conditions. But yeah, let's pin it on the bowlers. Why not?
Yeah.
Now there are so many obvious questions, and those questions started cropping up from that tour of Bangladesh.
Yes.
Where you were playing your full strength team, by the way. You had a full strength Indian team. You had Rohit. You had Virat Kohli. Yes, you weren't playing a couple of bowlers there and therein, but you expected them to be fit in the lead up to the World Cup. Yeah. Now it's all looking a little too dicey. These things being said before the World Cup. Could then they have been a little more tactful?
Saurabh already started making
shivering.
That comment.
Where is that aggression? We don't care about outsiders. There's a lot of depth. Akshar Patel can come and win you a match.
Where is pitch mein jao now?
I don't think where it has gone.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, you look at this Indian team, and every time a World Cup popped up, when we were kids also, whatever happened, we used to think, come on, this time we are going to win the World Cup. We are going to do this. We will beat this team. Then we will beat this team. This time, I'm afraid, I should not say this, but I am afraid of a fate which happened in 2007 World Cup. What has happened to this team? You talk about, you can blame it on anyone. You can say that they are overconfident, there's attitude, ego. But at the end of the day, you are representing Indian cricket team, a cricket team with a rich legacy. They have won everything. And now you don't have answers to number 4. You are talking about Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh retired in 2019. 4 years ago.
No, he retired last week.
And he has after not having played for the couple of years before his retirement. Yeah.
You had so many chances to fit in players. Yeah. You are talking about Shreyas Iyer. When did Shreyas Iyer get injured? Like you pointed out in last few podcast episodes, he did not get injured overnight. He has not been playing for 6-7 months. He did not play the IPL, the Australia series, and a lot of other series. Yeah. But he did not have anyone. Yeah. I mean, what is the team up to?
Both of you have started this, being this, having this double standards and all that.
How?
When when the team doesn't accept its mistakes, accept its concern, you said they don't listen to outside noise. They don't agree
They're
that
still
there
not
is a
listening to
problem.
outside noise.
They just first don't concede that there is a problem.
Do you really
identify the problem?
I'll
Now
tell you-
with the World
I'll
Cup
tell
2
you- no,
years
no, no,
away.
no, 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 no.
2
Now
years
with the
Not
World
2
Cup
years
2
away. 2 years away.
Rohit Sharma has agreed that there is a number
Which
4
World Cup is
problem.
2 years away?
Rohit Sharma
You want
has
some of
agreed.
my black coffee?
Akshay.
Nah, Raj.
This whole
Now they've agreed with enough time left in the bag.
This whole
Rahul
thing-
Dravid and Rohit Sharma have finally identified the problem.
I'll tell you what will happen now.
Yeah.
Right? Rohit Sharma has said, yes, we've had a problem, obvious problem with number 4. Dravid has said, yes, there is a lack of depth. What will happen now is, I'll start with the T20 World Cup next year. You'll have Rohit, KL Rahul and Virat back at the top because there's no depth.
Experience.
You need experience. And now in this ODI World Cup, you'll more or less go with a similar makeup. Rohit, Gill,
Virat.
Dhawan maybe out of the blue, because he believes the selectors have some different plans for him because he wasn't even part of the Asian Games. Who knows? Dhawan could be part of the World Cup. You'll have probably KL Rahul somehow slotting back into number 4. So that will be your playing 11. Either Gill or Dhawan with Rohit Sharma. Right? That's what's going to happen. So be prepared for a scenario like that because you still haven't answered questions to who your number 4 and 5 could be. Because you haven't looked at any other batting or bowling all-rounder, good all-rounders, you are stuck with 1 or 2 options. Ravindra Jadeja bowling all-rounder, Hardik Pandya batting all-rounder. That's all that you have to go with 4 specialist
What
bowlers.
about the left field choice? Tilak Verma. He bowled an over also in the 5th T20 and got the big wicket
Rinku
of
Singh
Nicholas
could be
Pooran.
another left field choice
So
after the Asian
This is the
Games.
state of affairs in Indian cricket right now. A young player comes in the team, plays a 5-match T20I series against West Indies just 1.5 months before the World Cup, not even 1 month before the Asia Cup. And now he is being seen as that number, he's going to solve your number 4 problem. What were the others doing?
Wasn't Yuvraj Singh picked like that for the 2011 World Cup?
No, not at all. He was in one of India's. He was one of the world's best all-rounders, limited overs cricketers by that time, having spent 10 years at the top. Right? He had some issues before the 2011 World Cup. He came back on the tour of South Africa. You had Raina in very good form before that. So you had 2 superb options down the lower order. And then Yusuf Pathan announced himself in South Africa with that brilliant 100 in a game which India lost. So you knew that you had 8 or 9 good bowling options. You could bat really low. You could bat deep. So you had a superb world-beating team ready. And I'll tell you what. Because I keep telling you, I covered the 2011 World Cup so closely. I had spoken to a few players before that, trying to get into their minds. I can promise you this one thing. Even if that World Cup had been played in South Africa or Australia, this team would have been one of the top contenders. You don't know, maybe they could have ended up winning that match, ended up winning the tournament anywhere in the world because of the kind of depth and class you had. Tendulkar, Sehwag at the top. You had Virat Kohli, a young up-and-coming Virat Kohli. Dhoni, the captain, right? Yuvraj Singh in that kind of form. Gautam Gambhir, Zahir Khan. It was just it was almost an invincible team.
Yeah, every player was a match winner.
And
And
all of
whom
them had.
did they leave out? Rohit Sharma.
I think there were injury concerns.
Injury concerns
Injury
and dip in
concerns.
form, but you could have the luxury to keep out a player like him, no?
And you had star batters who could bowl for you, who could pick wickets for you.
I mean, forget the specialist bowlers. You had Tendulkar,
Yeah.
you had Sehwag, you had Raina, you had Yuvraj. So you have 4 bowling options right there. Yusuf Pathan, when I think he got injured in the first match against Bangladesh in Dhaka. But look at that depth. Look at that quality in that lineup. It was just unprecedented. I think obviously after 1983, you talk so fondly of the 2011 team. You're looking at an impact like that. And this is the reason why I keep asking whether this team has become too arrogant, whether these players have become too arrogant. Is because also that reflection on social media. You know, there was a time when certain quarters of the media would be a little apprehensive of criticizing the team too openly because they'd be trolled on social media. And there are players, there are personalities who get a little taken aback with the brutal comments sometimes. But now you see some fans also reacting like that. They are also frustrated, with the lack of success at ICC events, with the lack of trophies, and then with the attitude of the players. Tendulkar, you heard him on TV. He was so pleasant to hear. Even Dravid, by the way, when he was a player, Saurav Ganguly, he carried that aggression on the field, but off the field, he was such a charmer.
Even
I
now,
think
Raj,
this
when you
is-
hear head coach Rahul Dravid speaking, it doesn't come out as arrogant or anything like that. But all of that doesn't get translated to what's happening on the field. That's there.
Yeah.
But talking about taking responsibility, should we actually look for a new coach, Raj?
In
As in maybe
T20s,
after
yes. Yes, I think there is a need. I mean, it's not about a new coach. With all due respect to Rahul Dravid, you need to look at a new setup altogether.
Yes.
You need to look at new players. You need to look at a new approach. You need to look at players who will follow that approach.
Yeah.
You don't bring in players and you say, you know what, ye approach hai follow karo, but you are a star, you would probably not follow it. You're a newcomer, you'll follow it.
Exactly.
You need to set a template. You need to set the way to approach these games, and then you need a strong coach, a strong personality, strong head. Someone said, you know what, you will follow this format. This is the one format that's going to get you success,
No,
like
but
England have done with.
Anchor role is still relevant in T20 cricket. That's what Virat Kohli said. And
Yeah, KL Rahul too, by the way. He's talked of strike rate not being important.
Talking about buying into a team principle, a team motto. What better example than the England cricket team?
Yeah.
Joe Root, he's still one of the most classical orthodox batter. He was willing to take risks and play those shots, not just for his own, for the team. You have to buy into a certain method that playing. But when you talk about, I still remember Rohit Sharma starting out the leg after the T20 World Cup 2021 by being aggressive at the top. But Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul didn't do that, and Virat Kohli and KL Rahul didn't do that. And Virat Kohli in an interview said that I still think anchor role is important. If you have, you have to have a strong setup to make players buy into your strategies and the way you have to go forward, right?
That's all, that's a given. You need to get players to buy into your way of thinking from a coaching perspective. But sort of also, do you sometimes feel a little annoyed or perplexed listening to these modern day cricketers on TV or, listening to the interviews and say, where does this attitude come from and why? Because you're being covered by the media, which also loves you, which wants the Indian team to do well, obviously. They will get a little flustered when you don't win trophies. And we are here to ask questions on behalf of the fans, the millions and millions of fans who follow you so ardently. So it is a little, I don't know, I feel a little taken aback.
See, you're talking about fans. Ravi Shastri was the head coach of Indian cricket team. Right now, he's not. So when Ravi Shastri points out that there are problems in Indian team, you see a couple of Indian cricketers coming out and saying, we are not paying heed to the outside noise. What is outside noise to you? You don't want to hear what people say, you don't listen to it. But at least perform. That is your job. You need to win matches for India. You can speak all you want, but if you don't perform, people will criticize you. It's as simple as that. You're talking about, Akshay was talking about the management helping the players and buying them out. You saw what happened in IPL. MS Dhoni led CSK to an IPL title win. He must have, you could see players knew their role. Like Tushar, he was getting hit for runs, but he knew that Dhoni knew he will get him those wickets. Shivam Dube, who would have thought the kind of rules Shivam Dube played for Chennai Super Kings. Every player knew what they had to do. Devon Conway, Ruturaj Gaikwad. Every champion team has survived and won trophies when the team management and the players, they know which player is going to play what role at what time. In this Indian team, you don't know that. I don't think that these players also know that. For everything, they come out and say, this is an outside noise. Come on, you're not winning anything. You're now losing to Bangladesh, you're losing in West Indies. I mean, it's not just about West Indies. You lost to Australia at home. You lost to Bangladesh in their backyard. The World Cup is right now.
2 months away. Not even
Less
2
than
months
2
away.
months. Let's get that.
Yeah,
Let's
2
get our
years
facts
away.
right.
2
So,
years.
Akshay has come.
okay, what we the last leg of this episode, let's just try and come up with a fantasy playing 11 for the World Cup.
Team management
It's fantasy
also-
because
also seems to be doing that.
let's try and see. Let's try and see how close we get to what the team management is thinking, and even for our viewers and listeners,
I
please
think-
do email us on pods@indiatoday.com and ping us on 8588 966 with your playing 11. What you think could be a
Yes.
probable playing 11
And if
for
you-
this World Cup, and you can leave your comments on
Yes, on
Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you're consuming. Or Apple Podcasts, wherever you can be consuming
And
the
it will
Sledging
also
Room
be
on.
easier for them to leave their comments on YouTube and tell us
Yes, exactly.
what their ideal 15 or 11 will be. Picking 15 will be a very difficult thing, Raj. It'll be
If you can more or less pin down your 11, then it
Yes.
shouldn't be that difficult. But Akshay, do you want to go with yours first? I know you copied a lot from.
I will go with mine first. Rohit Sharma. 11 you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make some bold calls from what I have seen.
Okay.
See, this is not a comprehensive, thorough team that I can make because the team hasn't been comprehensive. The team hasn't been thorough.
Stop making excuses.
No, they have given
Don't
chances
listen to
to
outside
people.
noise.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
go
not
with your
listening
team.
to- So Rohit Sharma to open. This is my 11, World Cup 11.
Okay.
Rohit Sharma to open. Shubman Gill, his opening partner. Virat Kohli at number 3. Number 4 is Tilak Verma. Then I don't have a wicket keeper, no?
Typical
Okay,
of Indian
okay.
team management.
Okay, I'll go. Yeah. Rohit Sharma, opener. Shubman Gill, his opening partner. Virat Kohli at number 3. Tilak Verma at number 4. Hardik Pandya at number 5. Sanju Samson at number 6. Ravindra Jadeja at number 7. Shardul Thakur at number 8. Kuldeep Yadav, Bumrah and Siraj.
Okay.
I'll
So
have
you have
Shami
no
as a
Sky.
backup.
You have no
No
Sky.
Sky.
Okay.
No KL. No Shreyas Iyer.
Okay. Saurabh?
I will go with Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill as my openers. Virat Kohli coming at number 3. I will have Jadeja walking at number 4.
Okay.
Ravindra Jadeja. Then Hardik Pandya, obviously number 5, nobody else. Number 6, Sanju Samson. Then you have Shardul Thakur, Kuldeep Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj,
And Shami.
and Shami.
Okay. I'll give you mine as well.
So you will have thin lower order problems.
Yeah.
That is a problem that
If you-
Rahul Dravid alluded to. Batting depth will become a problem.
I'll take care of that problem.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the captain obviously, opening with Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul / Sanju Samson.
Okay.
Assuming KL Rahul is fit, that's my number 4.
Oh, Ishan Kishan.
I am going with Ishan Kishan outside choice. I have Ishan Kishan somewhere in my lineup as well, but I'm not going to mention him because I think it's going to come down to mostly KL Rahul because, you're going by what you've learned so far. He's going to be fit. Hardik Pandya at number 5, we've already discussed. There's no other option there's no other batting position open for Hardik Pandya other than number 4 or number 5. That's where specifically you're looking at. Surya Kumar Yadav, again, because you've drilled that so much into the public perception.
Number
now.
6.
He's coming in at number 6. 7, Jadeja. 8, Shardul Thakur. I think that's where that discussion also came from. That he's also obviously been one of India's most successful bowlers in ODI since 2019. Kuldeep Yadav at number 9. That also gives you some sort of batting depth because of the fact that he's reinvented himself almost with the bat. And then Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj.
So you're not going with the third frontline pacer like me, whereas Saurabh has gone with all 3 frontline pacers in his 11. Siraj, Shami and Bumrah. And I don't know whether that will work in India. Maybe it might work, but in Indian subcontinent pitches, I don't know how you can fit in 3 frontline pacers and then one all-rounder who bowls fast medium. Maybe, I don't know. But I might have missed Ishan Kishan, but he'll definitely be in my 15. He has done very well in the last few months to warrant a place. But Sanju Samson, you should not, as in I am not looking at his T20 performances.
Yes,
Let's not mix formats. In ODIs, whenever he has gotten an opportunity, he has done well. And he can be that number 6 that India want Surya Kumar Yadav to be. Surya, despite getting 30, 25, 26 opportunities, hasn't done enough in ODIs to merit that spot.
The way to build these World Cup squads is, irrespective of results, since this is so close to the tournament, now you can't obviously think twice. Since these guys have played so many games, since Surya has played throughout the year, he's played ODIs throughout the year, you now can't look beyond him.
Yes.
Right? Sanju Samson, maybe now just tell him that, you're going to play the Asia Cup, you're going to play the World Cup, come what may, you're going to be part of this team.
Yes.
Just go out there and play.
I think you should pick
This is not an ideal prep.
Yeah.
This is not an ideal build-up. But this is all the build-up that you've had.
Yes.
I still remember before the
This is what you have.
Before the 2019 World Cup, people were asked. There was an IPL before the World Cup, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes.
Before the 2019 ODI World Cup, and people were asking about last-minute changes to the squad and all that. And Virat Kohli said, the IPL performances won't matter. We will stick to the 15 that we have in mind.
Fair enough.
Imagine if Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid have the opportunity to have an IPL now. I think they'll pick 11 players from that IPL.
No, I mean, there's no other way, right? You've probably... look, again, like I said, India could end up winning the World Cup. but perception also matters in modern day
Yes,
sports. That's
exactly.
why there is so much talk about football. There is so about these high profile transfers, and then so and so not winning the Champions League, or so and so winning the Champions League, but how you win it, there's always, this is a matter of perception. So we'll leave it at that this week. I think we've covered about 4 weeks of World Cup coverage, of World Cup build-up, World Cup preparation. Hopefully, we'll come back to you next week with some sense of the Asian Games,
Yes.
Asia Cup squad, because that's very important. That will probably give you a peek into the future
Yes,
for the
yes.
World Cup, which is not very far off.
2 years.
But
away. that's how Rohit
we are
and Dravid
holding
are thinking. Yeah.
accountable for any kind of misinformation. The World Cup is obviously going to be played in India from the 5th of October. India start the campaign on the 8th of October. And then the T20 World Cup as well, which is less than a year away. So there's plenty of work
Against India
to be
start their
done.
campaign against a team that is so sure of its setup. Australia and Chennai, they have left out Labuschagne. They have the...
They have the wherewithal.
Yeah.
They have the
We're going to
wherewithal.
play Australia after 2 years, right? As Akshay says.
Yeah. Forget
In a
the
different
ODI
parallel
series
world.
defeat
But
at the start of
thank
the
you
year.
so much for joining us on this episode. And
Yeah.
while Akshay gets his head wrapped around the fact that the World Cup is just a few weeks from now, we'll leave you at this and have a great week ahead. We'll come back with a lot more on Indian cricket and the world of sports in the week to come. Thank you so much.